Hello and welcome to Nationwide on the NTA. I'm Ayodeji Makinde. We'll begin from the National Assembly, where the Senate has passed for second reading a bill to prescribe the salaries, allowances and fringe benefits of judicial office holders forwarded by the federal government for approval. Taking the lead on the executive bill, Senate Deputy Majority Leader Senator Lola Ashiru says the bill seeks to address the prolonged stagnation of remuneration in the judiciary so as to reflect socio-economic realities. It also aims to improve general welfare by unifying the salary structure and other benefits of judicial office holders at the federal and state levels.
The criminal justice system with a view to ensuring the independence in performance of constitutional role as the arbiter of the temple of justice.
In another development, Senate has approved 549.674 billion naira budget estimates for the Nigerian Communications Commission and 17 billion naira for the Universal Service Provision Fund Board for the NCC for 2024. Meanwhile, President Bola Tinubu has communicated Senate seeking confirmation of appointment of Abdullahi Usman as chairman of the Code of Conduct Bureau. In another development, the House of Representatives has asked the Central Bank of Nigeria to suspend the proposed introduction of cybersecurity levy on electronic transactions. Adopting a motion by Minority Leader Kingsley Chinda, the House notes that the proposed 0.5% levy on electronic transactions is open to multiple interpretations at a time citizens are grappling with the effect of removal of subsidies from petroleum and electricity, as well as rising inflation.
Including that the levy be paid by bank customers, that is Nigerians, against the letter and spirit of Section 44(2)A of the Act, which specified businesses that should be levied accordingly. The House is worried that this act has led to apprehension as civil society organizations and citizens of the country have taken to conventional and social media to call out the federal government, give ultimatums for reversal of the imposed levy on Nigerians, amongst others.
In other resolutions, the Green Chamber also called for urgent resuscitation of the Garim power plant in Bayelsa State to contribute significantly to the national grid.
Rather than resuscitate the power plant, which is built with $400 million and valued as of today with over $800 million, the management of the Niger Delta Power Holding Company is proposing to designate the 252 megawatt open cycle power station as a construction site. The House resolved to urge the Vice President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, who is the chairman of the board of the Niger Delta Power Holding Company, to summon an emergency meeting of the board for urgent resuscitation of the Barai power plant in order to increase national grid.
The High Court of the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, has granted bail to the former Minister of Aviation, Hadi Sirika, and 3 others in the sum of 100 million naira each, and 2 sureties in like sum. Justice Silvanus Origi gave the order while ruling on the bail application of the defendants in the matter. The EFCC this Thursday arraigned Hadi Sirika, his daughter, son-in-law, and a company the former minister allegedly has vested interest in. Hadi Sirika and 3 others are standing trial on alleged 6 counts charge, which all the defendants pleaded not guilty to. The matter has been adjourned to the 10th June 2024 for continuation of trial. Moving on to security, all is now set for the visit of Prince Harry and his wife, the Duchess of Sussex, Meghan, to Nigeria tomorrow, 10th May 2024. Director Sports Defense Headquarters, Air Vice Marshal Abidemi Timothy Marquis, announced this at a news conference in Abuja. The visit of Prince Harry, the founder of the Invictus Games, to Nigeria will facilitate the development of a state-of-the-art center for the management of wounded soldiers and enhance the chances of Nigeria hosting the Games.
The need to build a state-of-the-art, structure for the management of the wounded and injured soldier, particularly the post-traumatic stress syndrome that are manifesting due to our engagement in the counter-insurgency operation. Recently his honorable wife did DNA genealogy test, and it was confirmed that she is 43% Nigerian. So she was also looking forward to come to Nigeria as part of our ancestry and our lineage.
Invictus Games is a sporting event that promotes physical and mental recovery for wounded soldiers across the world. On the schedule of the private visit of Prince Harry and his wife, Meghan, includes sporting events, visits to 44 Military Reference Hospital, Kaduna, to interact with wounded soldiers. Equipping Nigerian Air Force personnel with skills required to optimize air bases through cost-effective construction is the focus of a workshop aimed at enhancing NAF Air Base security and infrastructure. Defense correspondent Naja'atu Tijani reports from the headquarters, Nigerian Air Force, venue of the workshop.
This is not just any workshop. It has brought together some of the best military minds in base defense, security, engineering, and construction, as well as experienced resource persons, including retired Nigerian Air Force officers, to achieve enhanced knowledge of cost-effective construction methods and materials. The Chief of the Air Staff, Air Marshal Hassan Abubakar, in a message delivered by the Chief of Aircraft Engineering, emphasizes improved understanding of air-based security vulnerabilities and mitigation strategies.
We must leverage the latest advancement in security technology to bolster our defenses, while also exploring creative solutions that offer the greatest value for money.
Together, we will explore the latest advancements in security technology, share practical experiences from the field, and identify opportunities for synergy and collaboration.
With the present economic situation the world over, the Nigerian Air Force as well as other services are looking inward to determine cost-effective ways of ensuring that air bases, which are the first line of the defense, are looked into and built effectively. The Air Chief says through the NAF's commitment to operational excellence, it will continue to respond effectively to emerging security challenges. Naja'atu Tijani, NTA News.
In line with the core mandate of securing critical national assets and infrastructure, the Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps, Abia State Command, has reiterated its readiness to keep vandalism at bay in the state. The state commandant of the Corps, Usman Ishaq Al-Fadare, stated this during the parade of 3 suspects who deal on real parts in the Aba North area of the state. Chika Okori has details.
Parading the syndicates for illegal trading on items suspected to be railway components, Commandant Afadiri said investigations are underway to identify and apprehend all individuals linked to the crime. He described the acts as a grievous threat to the nation's economy.
Men of Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps Abia Command has yet again busted a syndicate that specializes in dealing with scrap metals suspected to be sourced from vandalized rail line across the country. We recovered large quantities of rail lines, rail sleepers, being processed to be moved to a place we believe to be somewhere in Ilorin, Kwara State.
The alleged vandals, who were operating an illegal factory located at Second Power Line by Ubosisi Urata in Aba North area of the state, distanced themselves from the crime.
People tell you what you want carry. They say scrap. My guy now asked me to go and check the load. After I check the load, I see a railway iron.
The illicit activity was uncovered during a raid conducted by NSCDC personnel, with large quantities of rail line sleepers and tracks recovered. In Omahia, Chika Okori, NTA News.
After years of anticipation, the Port Harcourt railway service finally came on stream. 9 days into commencement of service, correspondent Gabriel Amunike visited the facility to gauge the quality of service, punctuality, and its impact on economic activities, and now brings us details.
The debut of the Port Harcourt Railway Service on May 1, 2024, after years of being out of service, brought so much excitement to residents of Port Harcourt and Aba in Abia State, as it offers them an alternative to road transportation. While they see it as a fulfillment of federal government's promise to the people of River State, they also commended the comfort it brings to customers who now have the opportunity of either traveling in the first or economic class.
People will not get money now. At least it's help us. Government will help us. The motto.
The concern for some, however, is the price, which is should be looked into for further reduction.
The price of the train is fixed by the management. We don't have control over that. The first class apartment is 1,500 as fixed by the management. The both of them are affordable. It's 800 naira, which is the minimum. I think if you compare this with the road transport, you will see that the railway is trying to help people.
Fine, and I like it very much. That's why I say let me try it today. But what I'm trying to say now about the transportation is too much, especially for business people like us.
The train is very, very good, and it's very convenient enough for everyone.
With its regular schedule and positive feedback from passengers, the railway service is poised to become an integral part of the region's transportation network, promising a smoother and more efficient travel experience for all. In Port Harcourt, Gabriel Amunike, NTA News.
Let's now join Robinson Dirateide, who is live at the Port Harcourt train station. Robinson, this surely is coming as a huge sigh of relief to commuters around that area. Tell us the current situation.
Yes, people in River State are very happy with the current development with the operations of the railway from Port Harcourt to Aba. You know that the Eastern Rail project is between Port Harcourt to Maiduguri, and the first phase is between Port Harcourt to Aba in Abia State. People have been waiting to see its completion because the first deadline that was given was in March, but the people could not complete it. They gave reasons of the rain and also the sit-at-home order in the Eastern Corridor. But at the last visit of the Minister of Transportation, Saidu Alkali, a very good progress has been made. There is a serious, significant improvement on the rail project. And on the 1st to 4th of May, they actually declared free ride for passengers that are traveling from Port Harcourt to Aba. And over 100 passengers actually enjoyed the provision, and they were all happy about the development. As a matter of fact, they see this as the best that can happen to traders, particularly those that are going to Aba and other eastern cities to buy goods to bring back to Port Harcourt. So it's a good development, but their area of concern is the transport. They feel that the transport fare is a bit high because for first class is 1,500, while economy is 800 naira. So they are actually appealing that the price should be beat down. They are also concerned about the old locomotives that they have to be changed. But one good news that has excited the people more is the promise of the minister when he visited that the rail will soon be linked to the Port Harcourt and Onne ports. And this, of course, will help to transport goods from these ports to the eastern parts of the country. And of course, Rivers people are also eagerly waiting till when the rail will be linked to the coastal areas where from Port Harcourt people can travel to Bonny Island and also possibly Brass Island in Bayelsa State. So the people are happy and they believe that the government is committed to this project and it will be a very good one for them.
Robinson, surely around you there, we're seeing increments in business activities, and hopefully that will also water down to different areas there and boost economic activities around that corridor. Robinson Deratate in Port Harcourt, I'd like to thank you for giving us an update.
Thank you.
Now let's go over now to our Lagos Network Center, and Hingino will be our guide. Over to you, Hingino.
Thank you, Ayodeji. Nigeria's path to economic recovery is becoming more feasible with the implementation of fiscal and monetary policies that are helping the naira appreciate against the dollar. This has now led to a stable exchange rate. Other critical reforms embedded in the 8-point agenda of the Tinubu administration, including bank recapitalization, financial experts say will take the nation's economy out of the doldrums. Joel Popola has that report.
President Bola Tinubu, as part of his determination to hit the ground running, unveiled the 8-point agenda with a timeline to ministers to deliver on the focal areas. With the current administration nearing its first year in office, financial experts say the management of the foreign exchange market, which has now restored confidence in the naira, is one major achievement that has brought stability to the economy.
Now that government has come up with a series of reform to stabilize FX market, definitely we expect that sooner rather than later, inflation will start coming down.
For the first time in many years, analysts say Nigeria recorded positive balance of trade and exportation has also grown tremendously under the current administration. The intervention of government in the oil and gas sector is also yielding results.
As we speak today, Nigeria is no longer importing diesel into our economy. And what would that do to the economy? Definitely is going to assist us in bringing down the demand pressure on the FX side.
In Lagos, the commencement of construction on the Lagos-Calabar Coastal Road, Badagry-Sokoto Road, and the complete rehabilitation of the Third Mainland Bridge, respondents believe will add value to the economy of Lagos and indeed Nigeria.
The economic benefits to that for Lagosians, the kind of business that will spring up as a result of the development of that infrastructure.
The 8-point agenda, if it should be monitored to the latter, I think we are going to have a great picture of Nigeria.
Patience and support from Nigerians at this time remains pivotal for the realization of the lofty ideals of the President Bola Tinubu-led administration. In Lagos, Joel Ukbola, NTA News.
Addressing the disconnect between leaders and the led can be achieved when the voice of the ordinary Nigerian is amplified and taken into cognizance in policy formulation. This and the need for all Nigerians to make meaningful impact in the development of the nation was the crux of discourse at a public presentation of the book, Leading from the Streets, authored by Magnus Onyibe, a former NTA staff, public policy analyst and chairman Inspire Media Service Limited. Joel Bubola again reports that former head of state, General Yakubu Gowon, chaired the presentation.
The book is a compilation of 77 articles out of the over 1,000 articles written by the author, Magnus Onyibe. It gives an insight into major issues that shape Nigeria's socio-political and economic landscape. The 541-page book also seeks to awaken the leadership prowess of Nigerians who, according to the author, are all leaders in their own spheres of influence.
I am proposing that we pull our ranks together, we pull our resources together, we pull our brains together, we pull our intellect together and see how we can be able to move the country forward.
Former head of state General Yakubu Gowon and the book reviewer Professor Hehosa Osagai, Director General Nigerian Institute of International Affairs, and other speakers described the 7-chapter book as a robust intellectual contribution that can fast-track the nation's building process.
What sets this book apart from others is Magnus Nube's passionate commitment to inclusivity.
It's a book that contains so much that has to do with our past, economically, politically, and affecting our future.
At a panel discussion on the theme, Tinubunomics, what is working, what is not working, why, and the way forward, the panelists say while more is expected from the government, there is need for Nigerians to exercise patience. Distinguished personalities received awards of recognition for their contributions to national development. Leading from the street is speaking to the consciousness of Nigerians that nation building is not just about the leaders alone, but for the generality of Nigerians to contribute significantly by selfless sacrifice. In Lagos, Joel Ukbola, NTA News.
Good evening and welcome to Port Harcourt. The Nigerian Navy, in collaboration with other international naval forces, are set for the 2024 annual sea exercise targeted at enhancing security of the Gulf of Guinea. Kingsley and Marjorie reports that the exercise will last for 7 days.
The annual exercise of Bangame Express is initiated by the U.S. African Command, which holds in the Gulf of Guinea. This news briefing by the flag officer commanding Central Naval Command, Rear Admiral Samson Bura, is to herald the flag off. The objective is to rid the zone of activities of criminal elements and in turn provide the enabling environment for international businesses to thrive.
The exercise involves import training at sea scenarios such as anti-piracy operations, gunnery exercise, visit board search and seizure, communication and information sharing, amongst others. And we feature Nigeria and other countries of Africa and North America participating simultaneously with the Republic of Gabon as the host country.
From the 10th to 17th May 2024, the Nigerian Navy will deploy 8 ships, boats, and helicopters for surveillance, training, and exercises targeted as establishing its dominance of the sea. The Chief of Naval Staff, Vice Admiral Emmanuel Ogala, is expected to flag off the exercise in Port Harcourt. Kingsley Amajiri, NTA News.
The apology for the poor audio and picture. In a bid to equip young school learners with lifelong entrepreneurial skills for self-reliance, the federal government launched a school-to-work scheme to enable youths become productive and self-reliant. It is against this backdrop that Nkiru Onyejesi sought the reactions of residents of Port Harcourt on the scheme.
The School-to-Work scheme introduced by the federal government is aimed at providing students of junior secondary schools the opportunity to detect early in life where the talent and potential lie between academic pursuits and vocational skills development. Respondents say the scheme is a welcome development as it will save the country some of the wastage after junior secondary school education, where those who are not academically inclined have also not developed skills for sustenance.
Introducing a skill acquisition to students in the junior secondary level is actually a great idea because we know the way Nigerian economy is. Most persons will even finish university and then they don't have a job to do. But if you have a skill you've learned from while you're little, you can be practicing it, you can be doing it, which will give you income.
It complements to the 633 curriculum of education that we are practicing in Nigeria. By learning a skill, it will also help the child, it will also help the family, and it will also help the society.
Others, however, urge government at all levels to provide necessary support to ensure the scheme is a success and sustainable.
If secondary school leavers can start, having skills from school, it's a good one.
If federal government has decided to empower the youth
through a skill. They should also ensure that the enable environment is being put in place for the people to participate on the skill acquisition.
If government to take that step, they have done something great.
The School to Work scheme is structured to provide at least 6 months of skills training, divided into 2 months per year of study in junior secondary school. In Port Harcourt, Nkiru Onyejesi, NTA News.
That's it from Port Harcourt. Nationwide continues with Ayo in Abuja.
Jenny in our Port Harcourt Network Center, we appreciate you. Kogi State has been identified as one of the areas at risk of flooding this year. According to the 2024 Annual Flood Outlook for Nigeria, the state faces pressing concerns as the rainy season commences. Jonathan Omajali reports.
In Lokoja, the rainy season presents a dual reality. On one side, there are agricultural benefits and joy for farmers, while on the other side, there is the looming threat of devastation through flooding. Residents eagerly anticipate the season's arrival, but also harbor fear and apprehension of potential flooding.
Sometime in February, NIMET made public their prediction for 2024, and the 2024 rainfall will be higher than the average, long-term average for the country, higher by over 200 millimeters.
Recently, the Minister of Water Resources and Sanitation, Professor Joseph Usev, alerted at least 31 governors about the likelihood of flooding in their states from April to November. Kogi is among the high flood risk states. What is the way forward?
The state government has always been making sure that effective and efficient sensitization and awareness creation is carried out. The issue of waste collection and disposal is one of the practical way that has been approached.
Once it is rainy season, you know where you are staying is vulnerable to flood. Relocate.
Given the grim 2024 annual flood outlook, urgent action is imperative. In Lokoja, Jonathan Omajali, NTA News.
Jonathan now joins us live from Lokoja, Kogi State, of course, to tell us the current conditions and the necessity for preemptive action. Jonathan, this is a bit worrisome, considering the heightened risk of flooding in Kogi State. What specific initiatives has the government undertaken to mitigate potential damage and ensure the safety of residents?
Yes, of course, Ayo, you agree with me that one of the factors responsible for flooding is poor drainage system. And so what the government did in the month of March was to begin a massive cleanup of drainage systems in the state, Lokoja to be specific. As I talk to you now, major waterways have been clear so that there won't be any obstruction when the rains fully set in. And just to add, just last week, the federal government inaugurated a 420 million naira 625 meters canal in Kutun Karfi. It's a massive project, if you ask me. You recall that in 2022, when we had flooding in Kogi State, Kutun Karfi was one of the areas severely hit, affected by that particular flooding. And so this canal, constructed by Hyperdeck, is going to go a long way in mitigating flooding should there be any this year. So, of course, there are several measures that the government is putting in place. And, of course, we have embankments that have also been constructed at the riverbanks to ensure that the river doesn't overflood its bank.
That you've talked about some of the measures being taken. Can you tell us efforts being made by the state government to ensure the gradual relocation of people, especially the evacuation of those in these flood-prone areas?
Yes, talking about evacuation, I think is one of the areas that the government has been looking at since 2012. Just to take you back a little, after the 2012 flooding, which of course was a very severe one, the state government went on to build the flood estate and then relocated some of the people at the flood-prone areas to those places. Last year, they will also talk about increasing that flood estate so that it can accommodate more people. It's part of efforts to move people away completely, because as it is now, when the flood sets in, people just move away, and then when it subsides, they go back. But the government is trying to stop that by increasing the flood estate, as they call it. Of course, we have flood hostess as well, which is like an emergency center where the victims are also moved to. What the government does every year is to clean it up. And so that is also part of what the government is doing at the moment. It has been cleaned up just in case we experience another flooding this year.
Jonathan, I'd like to thank you for bringing us up to speed as for steps being taken by the Kogi State government to reduce the impact of flooding this year.
Thank you very much.
Now from Lokoja, let's go over to Makurdi Network Center, where Charles will be giving us the next sets of reports on Nationwide. Let's go for a break. And Nationwide continues here in Abuja. The head of the Civil Service of the Federation, Folashade Yemieson, has charged the pioneer chairman of the Federal Capital Territory Civil Service Commission, Emeka Eze, and his team to uphold the tenets of meritocracy, integrity, and public trust in discharging their duties towards building the nation. The head of the Civil Service of the Federation gave the charge during a courtesy visit by members of the FCT Civil Service Commission. Haman Jabani reports.
The head of the Civil Service of the Federation, Folashade Yemieson, enjoined the commission to see the appointment as a call to service, knowing that Nigerians are eager to see changes in leadership and service. She advised them to hit the ground running, considering the enormous work that lies ahead, adding that those in FCT are the bedrock of development. She said, as pioneers of FCT Civil Service Commission, they need to think out of the box by looking at the deliverables, knowing that the foundation laid today is what others will follow.
Whatever it is the Office of the Head of Service does, we carry our own Federal Civil Service Commission along. And so my advice is that the FCT Civil Service Commission should also create this kind of cordial relationship with the FCT Office of the Head of Service.
Chairman, FCT Civil Service Commission Emeka Eze said the visit was part of his leadership's continuous engagement with critical stakeholders whose input, guidance, collaboration and advice are needed for a smooth take-off and operations. He applauded the head of the Civil Service of the Federation for initiating reforms that have shaped the face of federal civil service for optimal performance and excellent delivery across the board. Haman Jabani, NTA News.
Efforts by Nigeria's First Lady, Oluremi Tinubu, to empower more women and youth in the country have continued to attract international attention with more requests for collaboration. This time, it is from the Israeli ambassador to Nigeria, Michael Freeman, who, among other things, is proposing the establishment of computer classrooms to rehabilitate and empower young female victims of human trafficking in the country. State House correspondent Adeniyi Taiwo reports.
Leading a four-man delegation to the office of the First Lady Oluremi Tinubu, Israeli ambassador to Nigeria Michael Freeman says ongoing efforts by our pet project, Renewed Hope Initiative, have helped to highlight the huge potential of Nigerian women and youths. Their proposed collaboration, which cuts across 4 key areas, such as establishment of innovation centers across the country, as well as mentorship programs in business, science and technology, is targeted at developing these potentials.
And 50% of those are women. And the aim of the program is to help develop them and to show young Nigerians that their future is in Nigeria and not somewhere else, and that they can develop their company. And we work with them with Israeli mentors, with Nigerian mentors, and we work on this program. We are looking to expand the program for the next cohort and double the numbers.
It also focuses on art development, textile promotion, and agriculture, with Nigerian women and youths who are farmers expected to leverage Israel's renowned expertise in agriculture to expand their businesses.
That would work with you and your office for opening computer classrooms. You know, we can choose random places, but we'd like them to be targeted, and we would want to work with your office to say, okay, let's do one here, let's do one there.
Their collaboration targets Nigerian women, and that fact is gladdening enough for the First Lady, who expressed readiness to work with the embassy.
The support we have from, foreign friends, I will put it in that context, has quite been encouraging, because you wouldn't be here if you didn't have, faith in this administration. And I want to really appreciate that. We're going to work with you in all these areas.
On the situation in Gaza, the First Lady prayed for peace. She also granted audience to the Turkish ambassador to Nigeria, Hidayet Bakakta, who was in her office to explore areas of cooperation with promotion of Nigerian culture at the center of their conversation. In the State House, Adeni Itaiwu, NTA News.
Our Kaduna Network Center is next on Nationwide, and Salmatu will be giving us the next sets of reports.
Thank you, Ayodeji. Good evening and welcome to Kaduna. Kaduna State Police Command has set up Schools Protection Squad to provide security for institutions of learning in the state to forestall all kidnapping of students. The formation of the squad is in response of federal government's decision to secure learning environment in the country. Muhammad Marajingi reports.
Schools in Kaduna State at one point or the other have experienced attacks by bandits, leading to the abduction of pupils. The impact of such attacks create panic amongst parents and key players in the educational sector, with prolonged disruption of studies and premature termination of the educational aspirations of these students.
Together we can make a difference and ensure that every child in Kaduna State has the opportunity to pursue his or her education in safe and secure environment.
The force recently procured, commissioned and distributed Toyota Hilux patrol vehicles, specialized patrol motorcycles.
The Stakeholders Forum on how to achieve a safer environment for our kids to study is timely.
With the theme Stakeholders Forum on the Security of Schools in Kaduna State, a special school protection squad was introduced, which signifies a monumental step towards ensuring the safety and security of educational institutions across the state.
More than 300 schools are going to be marked just to ensure that these schools, these children are well protected.
Securities of schools today is not just the responsibility of government, it's our collective responsibility.
Stakeholders are enjoined to ensure seamless collaboration and cooperation with security agencies to provide adequate protection for students, their teachers, and the learning environment in the state. In Kaduna, I am Muhammad Marajingi, NTA News.
Still on security matters, research and development are indispensable elements in operational capacity consistency with the crucial role of the Nigerian Air Force in military operations. Haruna Mohammed reports that it is in line with this that the Ground Training Command put up the Intra-Command Research and Development Competition in Kaduna.
The Nigerian Air Force has been an active participant in the war against terrorism, banditry and kidnapping, and this intra-command research and development competition is pivotal towards improving its platform in actualization of national security objectives. The Chief of Standard and Evaluation, Air Vice Marshal Michael Onyebashi, led the team in assessing the innovations.
The manual method is prone to human error.
Tenth after tenth, they evaluate the makings, including digital ammunition counter, multifunctional firefighting drone, and the fabricated blank firing adapter to enhance training using assault rifle. The Chief of Standard and Evaluation, Air Vice Marshal Michael Onyebashi, in a message says the competition is in line with the command philosophy of the Chief of Air Staff of intensifying effort towards indigenous technological advancement for sustained, serviceable platforms and equipment in alignment with national security objectives.
By leveraging on research and development, the Nigerian Air Force has augmented its operational capacity, projecting the nation's interests effectively through air power.
The headquarters Nigerian Air Force has instituted annual research and development competitions, both intra and inter-command, consistently fostering innovative efforts that yield notable results.
For the winners of the Ground Training Command Inter-Command Research and Development Competition.
Research and development are indispensable elements in the operational capacity consistency of the Nigerian Air Force. From the Nigerian Air Force Military Training Center, I am Haruna Mohammed, NTA News.
Those are the stories from Kaduna. More reports on Nationwide with Ayodeji in Abuja. Good evening.
Thank you, Salamatu, in our Kaduna Network Center. Experts have advocated more inclusion of women participation in governance and policy making to enhance productivity. This was part of submissions at the opening of a two-day gender mainstreaming workshop for staff of the National Institute for Legislative and Democratic Studies in partnership with the United Nations office in Abuja. Muhammad Rabiu Ali reports.
Available data reveals that despite extant legal framework that recommends 35% affirmative action of women participation, representation in governance still on the average. This workshop of Train the Trainer for NAIL staff on gender mainstreaming is designed to equip them with the necessary tools and competency into policies, programs, and budgeting.
I'm very optimistic that NAIL is strategically positioned in ensuring that women secure wider participation in governance by guiding policymakers to be able to make informed and evidence-based policies to enhance gender participation in governance in our country.
We wish to reaffirm UN Women's commitment towards gender equality and the empowerment of women in Nigeria.
We are lagging behind in terms of empowerment. Women are lagging behind in terms of education. Women are lagging behind in terms of health care services.
We need to do all that we can do. We're all very much aware of the level of participation of women, participation and representation of women in Nigeria, which is disheartening.
The training will expose participants to gender concepts and mainstreaming strategies. In Abuja, Muhammad Rabiu Ali, NTA News.
Katsina State government has taken a significant stride towards enhancing the well-being of its citizens with the first ever State Council on Health. During the inauguration of the maiden council, Governor Diko Umar Radda says the multi-stakeholders platform is aimed at addressing healthcare challenges in the state. Awal Haliru reports.
Maiden State Council on Health in Katsina State marked a significant milestone in the state's quest for improved healthcare delivery, and it brings together representatives from various sectors, including government, healthcare providers, civil society organizations, and community leaders. The council aims at building a resilient health system, challenges, opportunities, and sustainable solutions. Governor Dukwaratla emphasized the importance of the council in achieving universal health coverage and improving healthcare outcomes in the state.
The initiative focuses on addressing key challenges in the health sector, such as inadequate infrastructure, limited access to healthcare services, poor health outcome through a sector-wide approach.
Stakeholders highlighted the state government's commitment to prioritizing the health sector and ensuring that every citizen has access to quality healthcare, while restating the need for a collaborative approach to address the health challenges facing the state.
We aim to improve coordination by harmonizing health policies and programs across different levels of government.
By harnessing the power of technology, Katsina State can leverage these opportunities to enhance healthcare access and delivery, particularly to remote areas.
Those terms of reference were outlined during the inauguration to include providing a platform for stakeholders to discuss health issues and develop strategies for improvement. In Katsina, Awal Haliru, NTA News.
The National Agency for the Prohibition of Trafficking in Persons is engaging communities in the federal capital on issues relating to sexual and gender-based violence. Amina Baba Suleiman reports that the aim of the dialogue is to discuss the roles of all community stakeholders towards reducing sexual and gender-based violence in the Federal Capital Territory.
Been concerned recently over frequent cases of sexual and gender-based violence in the Federal Capital Territory. For instance, in year 2022, FCT recorded highest rape cases, out of which the NAPTIP convicted 4 with 2 life imprisonment. In year 2023, NAPTIP received 1,278 sexual and gender-based violence complaints from the FCT, and top of the list were spousal battery, abandonment, inflicting physical injury on children and rape. Professor Fatima Waziri Azi, the Director General of NAPTIP, said dialogue must collectively continue to create a supportive environment where victims feel empowered to report cases of sexual and gender-based violence, and this lies in the hands of the communities.
We are here today to listen to you and to know how we can best serve the people of the Abuja Municipal Area Council, because advocating against issues of sexual and gender-based violence is not something we can do alone. It's not something law enforcement can do alone, or civil defense, or the police. We require a united front.
When it comes to issues of violence, I wish we had a breakdown of statistics here. All the women face the most abuse. One, they are women, 2, they are old, and worse still, if they are living with disability.
The abuse of a child takes a long time to live. The sexual abuse will be there, all the forms of abuse.
Some concerns raised during the dialogue were issues of community and family interference, leading to complainants withdrawing their complaints or being non-responsive. Amina Baba Suleiman, NTA News.
And that's nationwide. I'd like to thank you for watching. I'm Ayo Deji. Makinde, good evening.